All right, boys, we are back. Man, it's time for us to continue the Year 3 offseason with your Toronto Maple Leafs. So far, it's been a lively one. It sucks that we lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I was hoping that we could tie back-to-back Stanley Cups, really turn ourselves into that dynasty. Didn't happen. Still had a good year, but we have to move this team into the future, and I decided that we had to change things up, not just for the sake of change. Main reason being that Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, both coming from their minor league deals, wanting to get their big boy contracts, and they deserve it with what they've done for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Already Stanley Cup winners, right? So I had to pay those guys, going from minor league deals to big boy contracts. That's a lot of cap to all of a sudden take on. There's no way we were able to keep everyone. And we have a lot of forwards coming up in the system, so I tried my best to keep everyone that I could, but there had to be somebody who went, and it was the dream, Nazem Kadri. He was great for us in our Stanley Cup run, but like I said, he just didn't fit in anymore with all those forwards coming up from the Toronto Marlies. So I decided to trade him to the Anaheim Ducks along with our first round pick to move up in the draft to acquire a medium elite goaltender, Patrick Spacek. So we have the Chicago Blackhawks blueprint right here. You don't want to put all your chips in one roster. A few players, yes, but you got to keep on flipping for younger players. And we have the replacement now for Frederik Andersen. We can ride Andersen for another 2 years and then use him as trade bait. So things are coming together. Now we just need the results. We need that second Stanley Cup. So we're here in free agency. We already went through this in the last video. Because we traded Nazem Kadri, you guys know this, we don't have much cap space. We have everyone else signed in the team. Our cap space is at $1.285 million. There are some nice players that we could sign that would help us out, but it would take a roster spot away from one of our young players who need the ice time this year to get better, and also I'd have to trade away a roster player to free up that cap space, so that's not going to happen. We're not going to waste time on signing anyone for the any prospects either. We have 45 players under contract. So we got too many right now. Well, not too many. It's a good thing, right? But we just don't need to use free agency. But I will get a goaltender, one for the AHL. I think our best goal in the AHL right now is Garrett Sparks. Spacek is not ready, so I'm going to get a guy who is, there you go, 26 years. No, I want a minor league deal. Hang on. There it is. .925, 1 year, 78 overall, 30 years of age. So a guy who's maybe younger, like in his 20s, mid-20s. There we go, 25. There you go, Ullmark, medium backup, 1 year, 78 overall, 25 years of age. I will offer you a contract, good sir. There you go. And that's all, boys. So with that goaltender signing, we'll have 46 out of 50 players on the roster. I want to make sure that we have a little bit of wiggle room if I decide to make a trade come preseason, right? So I think that's the only thing we're going to do right now. Even without the dream, our offense is still up at 94. Our defense is there at 90. I think it just dropped to 92. Somebody dropped down. What the hell? And Frederik Andersen, we know he's already had 2 great years. So our team is ready to go. Linus Ullmark, accepted offer, good. So I think this team can still be competitive. Hey, it went back up to 93. My defensive rating is jumping up and down. So let's not waste any time. I want to get a good chunk of the season simulation for year number 4 done in this video. And let's get to preseason. So here we are, the beginning of year number 4. Let's see what the Toronto Maple Leafs roster looks like now. So offense still 94, defense 93. Goaltending dropped down to an 89. Interesting. I wonder if Frederik Andersen dropped back down to an 88. So let's quickly just take a look at what the rosters would look like. I may be doing a trade in this video if we have too many players. I don't know. I do want to get a good chunk of the season simulation, but I don't want to rush this. I want to make sure that we have the right team. We got that one Stanley Cup. We can't let it get away from ourselves, that dynasty. So Antoine Bibeau, he's going to be our backup this year. That's the reason I signed Ullmark in free agency, the one guy. Bibeau's 82, same as Jonas Enroth. Hopefully he's fine as a backup. And we got Ullmark and Sparks as our AHL goaltenders. So hopefully they can hold the fort down, just them two. Defensively, we got Morgan Riley, a 92. Connor Carrick, 87. Jake Gardner, 86. Ville Polka, 85. Eric Jellin, 83. And Stephen Johns, 78. So in the system we got, so this is what I was talking about when it comes to playing our players. We could have signed a defenseman, a veteran guy, for around $1 million just to have like a 81, 82 overall guy in there. But we can also play our young prospects who have been playing for the Toronto Marlies and see if they have a season of growth. They have a depth defense. This guy's role is depth defenseman, so it's not like he's going to get pissed off with ice time. That's at least some good news. And we are deep enough that we can win with one or one or two, you know, not the greatest defensemen, I suppose. We only got one in there. I'm just worried about if an injury happens, right? But I guess, you know, Hunwick was only, what, 82, so it's not that bad. So we got a rookie defenseman this year, Andrew Nielsen, how do you pronounce that? Nielsen, right? Andrew Nielsen. He's a left-handed two-way defender. His defensive awareness up at 85. That's decent. He's good. Holy shit. Wrist shot power 99. My God. Let's put him on the point of the power play. Let's see what happens. So that's going to be our defensive core in the system. Valiev, Louvre, Johns, I think we'll bring up for the injuries. We'll get to that later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's that. I got to drop... Hang on a second. I got to drop down 3 forwards in the system. Is there anyone I need to bring up? Logan Brown, Hyman, Grundstrom, Belfour. Ooh, that's what I mean about the plethora of forwards, boys. There was no room for Nazem Kadri. All right, so all these guys, you guys can go down. So they got the wrong guys down here. Even the guys on minor league deals still register as in the system. So Greg Belfour, I'm thinking Grant Belfour. No, it's Greg Belfour. NHL. Lipsick, Holland, I know I don't need. Grundstrom, what's this guy? This is a new guy who's made his way up to the NHL. Second round draft pick in 2016, 21 years of age, medium top 9 potential. All right, this is not bad, actually. His role is depth forward. Maybe somebody that we use as injuries along with Hyman on the right side, because Hyman is still that depth forward, and we played him as a scratch forward last year, and he didn't get angry. So maybe those two guys. Lepsic I can send back down to, or Holland I'll send back down. Well, I need 2 forwards and a defenseman. All right, so Holland and Lepsic, you guys are going to be sent down. Boom. Grundstrom, you're going to be sent down as well. Boom. So I got Belfour, Hyman, Reichel. Belfour. How good did Greg Belfour jump up? See, I mean, that shot blocking and stick checking is nice. Yeah, I gotta take my time here. What do I want to do? Let me just get Hyman out of there, just for now. Okay, so we got 18 skaters right there. Now, if I go back into the system, who did not make the cut? We got Hyman, Grundstrom. Let me see Grundstrom's stats again. Yeah, left wing. Okay, so him and Hyman would be the depth forwards. Yeah, that would work. And then the depth defenseman for injuries, Johns, Valiev, or Louvre. Okay, I'd have to look at that. Before we do that, let's take a look at the lineups for the Toronto Maple Leafs, just the way they would be without any injuries. We'll get to the depth players later. So Mitch Marner, he's up to an 89 overall now. Hell yeah. Austin Matthews up to a 91. And William Nylander up to a... Was he already a 90? I'm thinking he was like an 88, 89, 87, something like that. Jeez, I'm doing too many offline GM modes. It's all messing with me. So Matthews, Nylander, and Marner, that is a filthy first line. They're all first liners. James Van Riemsdyk, no more Nazem Kadri, but we do have Logan Brown, who we might be able to get away as a second line center. His defensive categories ain't the greatest. But, damn, that shooting category is so nice. His slap shot power, 98. Put him and Nelson on the point for the power play. He just got a wrist shot bomb and a slap shot bomb. Daniel Sprong, he grew to an 84. The salary said that this guy was going to be a good player. When I offered him the contract, when you raised it up to like $8 million, it was +4, or when I raised it up to 8 years, it was +4 million per year. So this guy looks like he's going to grow. He's already got a 5-star shot, 5-star puck skills. Offensive awareness is up at 90. His defensive awareness, not the greatest. So maybe Logan Brown and Sprong, not the greatest to put those two guys on the same line. Kasperi Kapanen, 86, right wing sniper. Cody Eakin, Timoshev jumped up to an 84. This is why we had, oh my god, defensive awareness 89. Hell yeah. So you might want to like Timoshev and Sprong would be a nice combination, because Timoshev's great defensive awareness can counter Sprong's lack of defensive awareness, right? Same thing with a Cody Eakin, Frederick Gauthier, Kirby Reichel, and Greg Belfour. Okay, so that third line is going to be a third line scoring line, right? Timoshev is a third line scoring forward. So is Sprong. Kapanen is a second liner, along with Logan Brown, who's a third line scoring forward. I'll leave, yeah, because the veterans can help out Logan Brown, because Kapanen's got good defensive awareness, so does JVR. Yeah. All right, so that's looking decent. And defensively, Morgan Riley, Connor Carrick, Jake Gardner, Vili Polka, Eric Jelena, and I got 2 lefties down there. I can make that work. That's okay. All right, boys, so I'm going to go through this, take my time. I don't think we're going to have to make any trades. If I go back to, hang on, just let me, roster moves. So let me make sure I don't have anybody who's too good who's playing in the AHL. We don't need that. Where I thought I did that. What the hell? Roster moves. So I think it's just Hyman and that guy with the G, Grunstrom. These guys can all play in the AHL. Yeah, that's fine. And then defenseman, Valiev. Let me see. Which one should come up? Should Valiev, minor league top 2 defenseman, 81 defensive awareness. Valiev could come up. The only reason I don't bring these guys up is because they're contributing in the AHL squad. Victor Louvre, well, Johns is kind of like a minor league. Yeah, you know what? He's kind of pissed off. You know what? I'll bring up Louvre because he had pretty good defensive awareness, shot blocking, and stick checking. And if I need to bring in a defenseman, defensive defenseman, just to hold down defensively, you know what? That's what I'll do. So, Louvre, you're going to come on up. Right wingers, Hyman, you're going to come up. And Grunstrom, you're going to come up. All right? So, that is the 20-man roster for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I will go through and do all the power play and penalty killing lines right now. Hang on. So, that took some time, but we are ready to go. Your Year 4 Toronto Maple Leafs. It looks like this. James Van Riemsdyk, and I was thinking about putting him as a second line center, but you know what? We can try out Logan Brown there for right now. If not, we can always move things around. But I really like the third line the way it is, and Sprong and Timoshev don't need to be moved up just yet. They're third line scoring forward, so we're going to try Logan Brown out as the second line center, which means JVR is still in the first line left wing spot with Austin Matthews and William Nylander. The second line, Kasperi Kapanen, Logan Brown, and Mitch Marner. So a nice combination of power forwards, playmakers. And we got one sniper in there, Kasperi Kapanen. But JVR is a goal-scoring power forward. We'll see what Logan Brown can do with that Mitch Marner 89 playmaker to his right side. The third line, this might just be one of the best third lines I've ever created. Dmytro Timoshev, left-wing playmaker. His role is a third-line scoring forward. He's got some great stats. He could have a breakout season. Cody Eakin, 85, third line scoring forward. This guy's got great defensive stats. He's our first line penalty killer. This guy helped us to a Stanley Cup. And now Daniel Sprong, who's on the brink of a breakout season as well, third line scoring forward, and he's got a hell of a shot. So you got a sniper, two-way forward, playmaker combination on that third line, all young studs. And then the fourth line, Greg Belfour, Frederic Gauthier, and Kirby Reichel's an interesting one. I don't know if I like him as a fourth liner. He is listed as a third line scoring forward, and his defensive category is not the greatest. I'm going to hold on to him for right now, but we were talking about potential trade baits. That's one right there, especially if things are not going our way. Defensively, we got Morgan Rielly and Ville Pokka. I know you guys absolutely hate the way I arrange my defensive pairings, but it seems to work out for us. I like to split up the two offensive defensemen, so Connor Carrick, even though you guys want him on that first line, I'm going to keep him with Jake Gardner so he can contribute on the second line with Mitch Marner. When they play together, I don't know how it works out, the simulation. I don't know if all lines end up playing with each other, but I do notice that when you spread it out, the points get spread out as well. So Morgan Rielly, Pokka, Gardner, Carrick, Jelena, and Nielsen. That's going to be an interesting one to see how that plays out. Special teams: Nylander, Matthews, JVR. I got guys on their shooting wing. Kasperi Kapanen, I wanted to give him some better ice time and some power play time. It's hard with all those forwards, so I got him on the first line power play, but as a point man. We'll see what he can do as a right-handed shot from the point. The second line power play, you got Sprong, Logan Brown, Mitch Marner. So Mitch is going to help out those two youngins with Connor Carrick and Jake Gardner. Four-man power play looks like that. Penalty kill, we got Cody Eakin, Frederic Gauthier as our centers. But then we're going to run with Dmytro Timoshev. You guys are always correcting me in the damn comments. Once I get locked onto a name, I just keep on saying it. Dmytro Timoshev. He's going to be playing the penalty kill because of his decent, actually better than decent, great defensive awareness. Shot blocking's a little low, but it could always grow. And Kasperi Kapanen as well. We had him as a penalty kill last year. Can't put Nylander, Marner, and Matthews. They're already got so much ice time by playing in the top six in power play. I want to give these guys some ice time as well. So that's how they're going to get it. Three-man penalty kill, all that good stuff, okay. And goaltenders, Frederick Anderson. Down there in the AHL, we have some young players. You know what it is? It's the defensive core. Hang on. Shit. Defenseman. There it is. So we got Tom Hedberg, the medium top six defenseman, Henry Jokiharju, the medium top six defenseman, and Joktan Cheney, the medium top six defenseman. So I don't know if the AHL squad is going to have the greatest year because I don't want to scratch these guys. We got to play them. But for next year is going to be a very interesting year for the Toronto Marlies with Patrick Spacek, our elite goaltender, more than likely going to be able to play starting minutes down there. We're going to have a stacked team. But this year we can take it easy. I want to play those guys and see if they grow. All right, so that is that. Last but not least, let's just, as we always do. Actually, let me just think. We're going to send out our scout. Where do I want to send him out? We scouted goaltenders last year. Came through pretty successfully. Defensive core, forward core. You know, we kind of just need everything. You know, we got a deep forward core. Let's focus on defensemen a little bit here, okay? So, as I always like to, boys, the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs got a scout in Ontario. Don Cherry knows what he's talking about. Incoming all the, Austin Matthews is a freaking American, you dummy. All those comments are coming in now. All right, so let's start off year number 4. The Stanley Cup, well, not defending Stanley Cup champions anymore. Trying to say 2 years removed from winning that Stanley Cup, but we can still turn that year into part of our dynasty. I don't want to let this get away from ourselves. I don't want to have something like the Pittsburgh Penguins, you know, where they win it in, what was it, 08, 09? And then they don't see the Stanley Cup again until 2016. I'm looking for more of a LA King or Chicago Blackhawk run. Maybe not Chicago Blackhawks from first to second, because that was 2010 up to 2014. I'm looking for 2 Stanley Cups in 3, maybe 4 years. All right, fine, I'll take it. But we got to win it this year, man. That's why those back-to-back Stanley Cups would have been so beautiful. Not so much. Oh, and also, I turned down the injuries. What did we have them at before? We had them at like 9 out of 10. I moved them down to 5 out of 10 because they were happening way too much with freaking Austin Matthews going down for 40 games last season. So we just, we got the injuries down to 5. I read your comments. I know it does get annoying. We'll see what happens. I like to have a little bit of an injury because, you know, you get to tell a story. But when it's happening every freaking week and I got to edit lines all the damn time, it is quite annoying. So here we go, boys. October 2019. The year 4 season simulation is is now underway. We'll get the first 2 months done. We'll take a look at all the team stats. Hopefully now, the Toronto Maple Leafs are on autopilot for this year 4 season sim. That way we can get close to the, closer to the playoffs, get the playoffs, maybe not the next video, because we have to have the trade deadline, but the video after that. If things aren't looking the greatest, we may have to stop it after the first 2 months. But look at that. Holy crap. The Toronto Maple Leafs showing that they're no longer a prospect team. We're veterans, baby. We won the Stanley Cup. We can do it again. 3 shutouts in the first 4 games. The hell are we, Devin Dubnyk? Or maybe we're the mirror image of the Los Angeles Kings in real life. Shutout 3 times in a row now. Since we're on autopilot, we might as well talk about what's going on in the NHL. Can you believe that the LA Kings, they lose their goaltender, Jonathan Quick, and now they can't put the puck in the back of the net. Shutout 3 times in a row. That's rough, man. It's still early in the season, but, you know, you don't want to be losing games. It's starting to get to that point where you don't hit the panic button, but how long is it before we start seeing trades, before a team says, oh, things aren't going the greatest, we've got to see a trade? I'd say it happens before December. So November, you know, sometime in this month, you're going to see a team pull the trigger. And I wonder if the LA Kings pull one on a goaltender. But if they're not scoring goals, there's no point who's in the net, right? We also had the Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews show in Toronto. That was a beautiful one. But the show was stolen by Nazem Kadri, and I loved the way that Kadri played in that game, man. That's how Kadri's got to play. Chippy. Gritty, get out there, target the team's best player, and just go after him. I thought the guy was going to get his head smashed in by Milan Lucic. That first period, he was going after McDavid. I thought he might even get a penalty. He was getting very aggressive, but no, he got away with it. And I'm telling you, when he's playing like that, when he's that rat, the commentators, they called him a rat, you know, he plays at his best. He's got something else to do. He doesn't have to worry about the offense. The offense will just come to him then, and he's got the skill. 2 goals on that night, man. The first one was just a tap, and the second one was beautiful. 3-on-3, he got himself around Connor McDavid and buries it after a game of chirping him. I guarantee you, I'm calling it now. Someone, well, you can't screenshot the audio clip, but just remember it. The next time the Edmonton Oilers face the Toronto Maple Leafs, 3 goals for McDavid, all when Kadri is out there. I think it's going to be in Edmonton, so they can choose the lineups. So let's see. Let's get back into this. We talked about the NHL a little bit. Yes, we are certainly on autopilot right now, boys. The injuries have not... I shouldn't have said that. Just jinxed ourselves. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 17-4-2. First 2 months into the regular season. So you know what? let's just keep going here. There's no reason to stop it whatsoever. We can keep on going. I still have a few more things I can talk about with the NHL, and we know what the stats are going to look like for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. The individual stats, not so much, but you don't need to make any line changes, so I don't need to worry about the individual stats. And the team stats, I promise you, the goals for, goals against will be top 5 in both. We'll be top 5 in both categories just because I know we will. We've been up there the last few years, and if we're playing this good with that kind of record, it has to be. Defenseman, right? Yes, defense. No, forwards. Wait. Defenseman. Yeah, it was defenseman. What the hell? Can't even think. It's early, boys. I had maybe a little bit too much caffeine to get myself up for this. But we're going to power through. And look at all these freaking wins. 4-2, 3-0. How many shutouts is that now on the season for Frederik Andersen? Shootout win. 24-2 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hell yeah. So, that pisses me off that we didn't get to the Stanley Cup Finals and take the cup last year. It could have happened. Even when we got it back to a Game 6, it could have happened. Because now look at the seasons we're having. I mean, we could be a dynasty. You just can't let that slip away from you. We'll turn into the New York Rangers, where you clearly have a dynasty-type team, but you just can't get the job done, you know? Well, we'll see what happens. Anyways, how about the, what was it? It was the Winnipeg game. Blake Wheeler, man. Holy crap, has that guy really turned himself into a stud of a player? That assist that he had, where he was, like, puck shielding, it seemed for, like, 20 seconds on, like, 2 players. Just keeping the puck away, and then he shortens up his grip on his stick so he can control the stick with one hand while shielding the player. Finds a jet in the slot, gets a one-handed pass to him after keeping the puck in possession for 20 seconds, and gets an assist. That thing was freaking dirty. What an assist that was. And Jason Spezza as well for the Dallas Stars. I always remember Don Cherry talking about Jason Spezza when he was playing for the Ottawa Senators. He was saying, you got to shoot more, kid. You got to shoot more. Apparently, he's got a hell of a wrist shot, and we saw it on display in that game, man. I don't know if the shot was deflected or not, but off the rush, pure speed, comes down off the right side, that right-handed shot, and wires it short side. That was the Jason Spezza of old, man. That thing looked nice. So, a lot of stories in the NHL. I'm loving it. I'm loving also it's like the rookie season. I wonder if things are going to come back down to earth, but like Austin Matthews 6 goals, Patrick Laine 6 goals, Jimmy Vesey 6 goals. I mean, all these young guys with no NHL experience coming in and showing the players how it's done. My God. All right, so we're coming up to the All-Star break. The Toronto Marlies are 16-4. We knew that was going to be an issue, but I got to play those young guns, so it is what it is. Scouting assignment, we'll send them to the United States of America for 6 weeks. Only 8 defensemen. But we got to let the Toronto Marlies play. We're not going to worry about them. For next year, when we have Patrick... I need a drink. Yeah, man, I had way too much freaking caffeine this morning. Hang on. There we go. When we got Patrick Spacek playing for the Toronto Marlies next year, we will stack that team. I will bring in a bunch of 80 to 82 overall defenders along with the 3 guys that we have. I'll stack that team, get a bunch of forwards in there, and really give Spacek the chance to grow. But for this season, let the defensemen just get the ice time. The Toronto Maple Leafs, however, they are tearing it up. 33-14-2. And I have been keeping an eye on the top with the morale. It's not saying anything about a lack of ice time, so everyone's getting the right ice time, which is good. And I think Ville Polka, he's happy with ice time. So we have a nice combination. Ooh, Kirby Reichel, we've lost because of an injury. Is it just day-to-day? I think it's just day-to-day because nothing came up. Yeah, so we haven't had any injuries. See, is it too low now? You guys let me know if the injuries. I'm trying to find that sweet spot. Last year, I think we'd all agree. But it doesn't seem like I've changed it that much. I go from 9 out of 100 to 5 out of 100. And it changes it that much? You guys let me know. So, where are we? Calendar, 51 games out of 82. Let's just set it up for the trade deadline. Hang on a second. We're at the All-Star break. Like 1 month before the trade deadline would sound about right. Let's see. Where is it? The 1st? Okay, so you know what? We're right here. You know what? That's a perfect place to end it right there. We got a month before the trade deadline. Toronto Maple Leafs are third. You know what? Let's get a little bit closer because there may be a trade bait that pops onto the scene, and I am fully willing to trade away a first-round pick. Like I said, Nelson. We can always improve on that. The 6th defenseman that we have. What about the 4th line? Kirby Reichel. We can always improve on Kirby Reichel, even though he hasn't cost us. He hasn't mentioned anything about a lack of ice time, and our record is filthy, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Haven't dropped that line in a long time, eh? Ville Polka, he's loving his ice time. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 5-0. post All-Star break or All-Star game, 6-0. I mean, yeah, it seems like we shouldn't make any changes at all. Let's see here. The Colorado Avalanche, geez, 7-0, 8-0 since the All-Star game. I mean, how are we gonna Chris Kreider for 1 year for my first and third? I'm gonna decline that trade. Why? I mean, why go through with it? The team is playing way too good right now. We might have our team's first President's Trophy under GM Superb, man. Have we won a I don't think we've won a President's Trophy yet. No, we won that Stanley Cup. We didn't win the President's Trophy. We were in the President's Trophy running a few times, but we always faltered. This season, though, I don't know if we can. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna end it right there. I don't want to go too far. I want you guys to have the chance to chime in if we should make a trade, and I want to go through the trading block to see if there's any studs available. You never know; there might be a superstar available, so we'll go through it. Okay, so before we do that, let's check out the stats for the teams and the players and see how the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing. I got a quick glimpse of the divisional stats right there. We are killing our division. Yes, we are. 84 points. Second place, the Montreal Canadiens with 67. So they're 29-20-9. We're 41-15-2. My God. We might even have a 60-win season if we can go on another extended winning streak. The Toronto Maple Leafs currently sit in the first spot in the NHL. St. Louis Blues are right behind us, though, with 80 points. But after that, we have a comfy lead. 12 points ahead of the third place Washington Capitals. So I guarantee you these stats are going to be up there. Goals for per game. Let's see. We are third best in the NHL. Okay, it could be slightly better. Goals against per game, first in the NHL. And you know what? I'd rather have goals against at number one than goals for at number one. That's the playoff stat right there. Power play percentage. Let's see what this is. We up there. We're at 20%. Okay, so we're fine. Maybe if we improve our power play, we improve our goals for, which is third. I mean, you can always get better, I suppose. Penalty kill percentage, we are the best penalty killing team in the NHL. Cody Eakin, and you know what? Thinking about going back to it now, the lineups with Kasperi Kapanen and Dmitro Timoshov. Fuck, I keep goofing that up. He's playing the penalty kill in his first year, and it's not hurting us. We have the best penalty kill in the NHL, so to have those two guys on the penalty kill, that's quite nice. And in our last 10, we are 9-1-0. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, we got a good thing going here, boys. That's why I knew we didn't need Nazem Kadri. I knew that trade. What a trade that is now. I mean, you move up and you get a elite goaltender of the future while your team currently doesn't take a hit at all. That's just so beautiful. So here we go. And this, again, is why I split up the defensemen, Connor Carrick and Morgan Riley, because we have a team that can score, not just the first line. Austin Matthews, 49 points in 58 games played. William Nylander, 45. James Van Riemsdyk, 44. So that's that first line getting her done. The second line, Mitch Marner is actually a -1. Interesting. Mitch Marner, Kasperi Kapanen has only got 28 points, and Logan Brown's only got 28 points. So Logan may be holding back Kasperi Kapanen and Mitch Marner on that second line. However, we're still winning games, right? So I don't... Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Daniel Sprong's got 34. Kapanen, Timoshev's got 28. Kirby Reichel on the fourth line with no power play time or no penalty kill time has 22 points. That's pretty good for a fourth liner with no special teams. Okay, and defensemen, let's see this. Morgan Riley with 44 points. Jake Gardner with 22. Connor Carrick, he gets goals, no assists. It's so weird. Offensive defenseman. He's the same category as I guess his passing is only at 84, while Riley's is at 92. But Jesus, man, this guy doesn't like to pass the puck. You think as a defenseman, just by breaking the puck out on a team like ours, that's almost a President's Trophy team, you think he'd have more assists than that, but 5 on the season, all right? And goaltenders, let's see this. Frederik Andersen, save percentage, .926. He is tearing it up. Maybe it's time for him to finally win that Vezina as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's already got the Conn Smythe. He was a nominee for the Vezina in that year 2 run. It might be time for him to win it, all right? So those are the individual player stats. What else could we check out? We have to check out the trading block. And also, let's just check out the progress reports to see who has grown this year for us, especially in the AHL. I don't think we've seen too much growth in the NHL. Maybe slight, but I don't think it's been too much. Let's see. Yeah, Connor Carrick is the only guy who's grown. I got to understand growth. I mean, we're having a great season. I want to understand how to isolate players' growth and really maximize it. That would be nice to know. Wait, I'm not trying to get defense in the system. There you go. So, Jerome Giroux, don't know who that guy is. I must have drafted him. I just don't remember. Jamin Allison, all right. Patrick Spacek, all right. So, there is our elite goaltender. He's up to 71. He'll definitely be ready for the AHL next year. Jockton Cheney, he is up to 68 as a 20-year-old. Okay, so he's still growing. And these guys down here, all right. So, some decent growth. Haven't had anyone all of a sudden turn into a 90 overall player. Hang on one second here, boys. Just got a little bit congested. All right, we're nice and clear, ready to go. So last but not least, let's take a look at the other team's trading block. I'll do it the old-fashioned way, just so we can know exactly what's available, because I got to know if there's veterans. I just want to know if there's... I want to know about everything. So, a guy like Ryan Kessler. Now, this is an interesting one. How many? 3 years left. I'm going to say no to that. The reason I would say interesting is you could slot him on the third or fourth line. You know, Martin Hanzal. Let's see, 1 year left for Martin Hanzal. So you might be able to say, all right, for 1 year, do you want to play on our fourth line to replace Kirby Reichel to really make ourselves that much better? But Kirby Reichel, he's scoring on the fourth line, right? So I don't know. David Backus, let's see, 1 year left. So we got some veterans here. Martin Hanzal, David Backus, Carolina Hurricanes, Jordan Tutu. All right, champion, the Columbus Blue Jackets apparently going on a championship run, at least what the status says. Hopeful for the Calgary Flames, even though they have a very good record. Champion for the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's see here, Olsen. So they're getting rid of some prospects. So here we go. We got a team. No veterans on that team. So maybe all the options came early. Yuri Hudler. Here we go. If we want some more goal scoring, I don't think that's a necessity. So Kessler and Hudler, both available, but both have multiple years left on their deals. I'm not looking for that. Detroit, Edmonton Oilers, Mark Letestu, do not need him. The Florida Panthers have no players available, or no players on their block. Matt Sundin, baby, bring another Sundin here to Toronto. No, that's sacrilege. You can't bring another Sundin. Ryan Suter up at 91. Zach Parise, Eric Stahl. I'd love to trade for one of these guys, but they signed horrible contracts, man. You can't trade for those. They're 35 years of age with 6 years left at $7.5 million. Unmovable contracts. Eric Stahl had 2 years left, so that's not going to work out for us either. The Montreal Canadiens, only prospects. The New Jersey, ooh, this is what I was saying, boys. Now, I'm not saying that we should make this trade, but Taylor Hall is available. This is why I wanted to check the trading block. So 1 year left at Taylor Hall. When you think about the Toronto Maple Leafs, there's no room for a guy like Taylor Hall on this team. Now, you could maybe get him as a rental, upgrade, say, Kasperi Kapanen just for 1 year. You know, Kasperi Kapanen and a first for Taylor Hall, but you shoot your foot in the future. You shoot yourself in the foot for the future, because we signed Kasperi for like 4 years. And there's no way you're keeping him at $6 million, Taylor Hall. After this year, he's gonna want plus $8 million. So he's there. It'll spark conversation in the comment section, but I really highly doubt we go through with that trade. But a guy like Chris Russell to improve on Nelson back there, I mean, that's a perfect guy. Penalty kill, more defense, 1 year left. That guy can help out. The only issue is, can we fit him on the team with the salary cap? And Nick Bonino, he could also replace, Kirby Reichel. So Kirby Reichel and Nielsen maybe for Chris Russell and Bonino. That could be nice. Load up on some veterans for a playoff run. So far, the New Jersey team is the best trade options for me, boys. Chris Russell and Nick Bonino for Kirby Reichel and Nielsen. I wouldn't mind looking into that a little bit further. Chris Kreider, 1 year left. All right, so Chris Kreider, power forward. I think he'd be more of a goal-scoring power forward. Decent defensive stats. Maybe could slot him on the fourth line just for 1 year. He might be pissed, though. Maybe not the greatest idea. I think Nick Bonino would be a lot easier to get on the fourth line and keep him happy, because I can give him penalty kill time as well. Strome, no, we don't need that. Pittsburgh Penguins, let's see. No, they only have, we wouldn't. No, we would make a trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins. What am I thinking? Joe Pavelski. Ooh, right wing. Exactly where Kirby... 2 years left. If he only had 1 year left, that would have been a perfect veteran for our Stanley Cup run. Saunders, no, we don't need that. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they don't have the greatest record. Oh, Nikita Kucherov, Andre Palat. See, Ryan Callahan as well. Here we go. Ryan Callahan, how many years left does he have? That could be a perfect one. Ooh, Ryan Callahan. Now, the salary is a little bit much, but I'd rather Ryan Callahan for our playoff run than a guy like Kirby Reichel as a fourth liner. That could be a nice one there, boys. And then you got Kucherov and Palat. So Taylor Hall, Kucherov, and Palat are all available. If we didn't have such a stacked team, this would be the year to trade away a first-round pick, but I don't think any of those studs fit in anywhere on our squad. The Washington Capitals, let's see. All right, so, yeah, that's it. So we have certainly some options. The New Jersey Devils and the Tampa Bay Lightning both had some players that we could acquire. Ryan Callahan from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and New Jersey had a defenseman, Chris Russell, and a forward. It was the forward. It was the forward. Chris Benino. There you go. All these damn names. It's impossible to remember. So, Benino and Russell or Ryan Callahan. I think those would be the best bets. Everyone else had too many years left on their contract. So, the Toronto Maple Leafs, 41-15-2, kicking ass, looking for their first President's Trophy under the Mike Babcock era, or the GM Superman era, and maybe our second Stanley Cup in 3 years. If you could win 2 Stanley Cups and a President's Trophy in a 3-year run, that's almost like a mini dynasty. This year, boys, we cannot let get away from ourselves. So I'm going to say it right now. I will be trading away our first overall pick to bring in some help to get us that second Stanley Cup. So, boys, what do you think would be the best bet? Let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Be sure to check out our website, 2bcsports.com, where the hockey talk continues. Find myself and others in the live interactive chat, or dive into the active forums to talk about sports and gaming. You can also find us on Twitch, where the live streams come to life.